Hello, everybody, and welcome to our V.A.C. Roundtable number 47. And we are here talking about the holidays. And as we know, as the holidays come to us, we know it is a challenge for many people. It can be a challenge for veterans and their families. In years past, most of us had been elsewhere in the world, and nowadays we don't have an actual conflict. I mean, we definitely have members overseas and doing their work, but at the same time, as we rotate out of the military life and into our personal lives, the holidays can be its own set of challenges as well as traumas. Some of us were in combat during the holidays and not able to be home during the holidays. So, being at home for the holidays can bring a whole swath of emotions, feelings. It's also, unfortunately, notoriously a higher time of the year for suicides, not just of veterans, but suicides, period, because it's a challenging time for every human. And it's called the holiday season because there's approximately 30 holidays in this next month, depending on whichever your religious belief or denomination is. So, um, we just came through Thanksgiving, which was yesterday, which really kicks off the holiday season. And today, as I went out, I saw multiple cars with Christmas trees on the roof already, picking them up and rolling them home. So it always evoked for me a smile, because something I grew up Christian, and doing so had a number of choices of celebrations to have, but Christmas was one that the family fully participated in the sense that my sister's birthday is the beginning of December, and we would go get a tree. My brother is blind, so my mother liked a particular scent of tree and said that my brother, who was blind, preferred it. So, holidays have always been a mixture of truth, lies, and misinformation as we disseminate ourselves through them. But we wanted to take this time to familiarize how we veterans, we have veterans from Vietnam all the way down, and we wanted to give you some hints on how we handle and deal with the holidays and the holiday season, because it can be triggering for some of us, and we figure out and have figured out ways or tricks that we have used to help ourselves cope in these times. So we're here to share those with you. And it's a special season for all, but comes with its own set of challenges. So I'd like to thank Wade Laughter, Lenora Valles, Sandra So, Al Byrne, George Armstrong, Pearson Kennedy Crosby, Michael Crowitz, and I'm your host, Etienne Fontan, for this discussion today, which will take about the holidays and what gets us through. So I'm going to start off with Al Byrne, who is one of our senior fellows here at the Veterans Action Council, and he is a Vietnam veteran as well as 26 years as a officer in the Navy. So he has seen it all in the holidays, as well as have to lead his men through these holidays as well. So hi, Al. How you doing? And what do you do, and how do you help out during the holidays?
Well, I'm going to sound like the bah humbug guy of this show. I know I am, but I'm going to do it anyway. Um, when I was a kid, I was raised a Catholic. I was immersed in all the Christian holiday things, and I participated. I mean, it was a good deal. You got presents and stuff. It was easy. Um, but I joined the Navy at 17, and all of a sudden there was a different twist to the holidays. There's a certain homesickness and I want to return to the warm, fuzzy place you just came from, or what I hope you came from. Mine wasn't very fuzzy and warm, but it was better than where I was when I was 18. Let me put it that way. So, but then as you know, I became a lifer in the Navy. I spent 24 years, not 26, but 24 years in uniform, and that changed me a lot. Holidays became meaningless. One day was another. Uh, as an officer, I was concerned every day with the safety of the people I was responsible for. Didn't make any difference whether it was Christmas or May 13th. Didn't make any difference. It was there all the time. And I suppose that was a shutdown. Psychologists may say, "Oh, the guy just shut down." Well, I get us. I did, but I didn't. I mean, I respected those holidays for other people and what it meant to them, and I tried to support them. Hell, I stood the duty on Christmas so other guys could go home because Christmas meant a lot to them, but it didn't mean so much to me, if that makes any sense. So it was my way, I guess, of giving at Christmas, I suppose. So anyway, as a professional, I felt that it was almost my duty to be professional, and that these emotional days weren't allowed. And that proved well in Vietnam, let me tell you, because there was a really bad Christmas Eve in my world. And had I been emotional or sentimental getting into Christmas Eve, it probably would have been a different outcome, but I wasn't. So that's how I get by. And even now, I appreciate getting with Thanksgiving. I got together with friends, turkey, dressing, we had a good time. But emotionally, Christmas, even my birthday, if you want to go that far, if that's a holiday, some people it is. I got sent to Vietnam on my birthday. So I don't celebrate my birthday, if you can understand. I think you guys certainly can. So anyway, it's worked for me, and I hope it works for others. And I hope I haven't bummed anybody out because it works for me. Okay. Thanks for being there.
Thank you as well, Al. We appreciate you and your leadership as well as your perspective always is helpful. We will go on over to Wade Laughter. So, what about the holidays and what helps you get you through there, Wade?
Um, very much appreciate what Al just said. A lot of truth in his approach to the holidays for me personally. The holidays for me really are about family and friends, and finding ways to experience gratitude about whatever circumstance I happen to be in year to year. Um, I I think one of the wrinkles, if you will, if that I would add to what Al was saying about the holidays and why folks choose to celebrate them in the ways that they do. I think of Christmas really as instead of being a celebration of the birth of Jesus, which it is for Christians, I think of it as really a celebration of the fact that days are soon to begin getting longer. This time of year is a challenge for many people, I think, because the days are getting shorter. It's, here in Northern California, it's 4:20 in the afternoon and it's already sun is setting. That just seems really weird. And for somebody who loves being in the sun, it's a challenging time for me. So I celebrate the holidays at this time. Thanksgiving for me is about gratitude. It's about the family. It's about even if I can't be with family, I try and reach out and talk with them on the phone. I'm especially lately, not traveling a whole lot. So that's kind of the only way I'm seeing folks. But the other thing that I realized in thinking about this conversation, I wanted to say that something that's really important for me is getting outside, going for walks. I'm fortunate to live on a little farm that's adjacent to wildlands. And yeah, just today I was down, we have a little pond, and I was below the pond down by the creek. And it's just really beautiful. All the fall leaves are happening, and there's still water in the creek despite the drought. And I don't know. I saw a reishi mushroom, a big reishi mushroom growing out of the stump of an oak tree that had fallen over in a snowstorm we had a couple of weeks ago. And instead of being upset about this old oak falling over, I had the opportunity to celebrate that nature had provided this beautiful, hard, bright orange reishi mushroom. I took pictures of it, and I'm gonna figure out how to post them on Instagram, I suppose. But finding gratitude about my life circumstance and the holidays, um, and like I said, reaching out to family. And I know for many people, family can be hard. There's not always there's reasons to find disagreement with family. And you can't really change who your family are, but you can choose your friends. And I want to call out this particular group of folks and the folks who have joined Veterans Action Council conversations over the time I've been involved with y'all for the quality and the thoughtful nature of these conversations and the way that people really put themselves out there to share with each other. It's a buddy check unlike anything I've experienced. So thank you. That's all I got. Happy holidays, everybody. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Thank you, Wade. Much love and great appreciation. It's always a pleasure to have you
I
on
agree
here.
with that.
Well, then we'll go with Kendra since you popped in and said, hey, hi. As one of our more recent V.A.C members, it's always good to have you here. So, Kendra, what do the holidays and mean to you, and how does you get through it? You're gonna have to unmute yourself, though.
Sorry. First time you had to tell me to unmute myself, huh?
Yeah.
So I'm honestly trying to find out what the holidays mean to me. Because as explained by Al, I was in for 14 years, and I was also married and, in another part of the country or the world at different times, different holidays. So, when Saddam Hussein got hung, I was in a chow hall in UAE on Christmas. I can't tell you how many Christmases. I spent Christmas, Thanksgiving. I swear to God, I'm the original discoverer of cheesecake and pumpkin pie together, because I figured it out in Thanksgiving in Iraq in our tent in 2004. And then now there's like pumpkin cheesecake everywhere. But so me being back home now in Ohio, where I'm originally from, back with my family for 7 years now, I'm still trying to figure out what the holidays really do mean for me and my stability, both mentally and, I'm not moving out of this house unless something drastic happens. So I'm still trying to find that. It's happening. We're getting older. Everybody is. I am, my family. So it's not like it was 20 years ago. So it has to adjust anyway. So it's a transition, and it's hard, and we're making it through it though. So it's becoming more of the family thing that it should be, that, everybody knows isn't, but we try to act like and strive to be. So, and I try to remember my friends from the military and my family, other than blood too, because they definitely helped me through a lot. So got me through many, many years, got me through a lot, even the past 2 weeks. So I appreciate even everybody here checking up with me. You guys know my personal problems, even, and veteran problems, and we can all relate on a level. And I really do appreciate that. And thank you for Ho, 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 and wait. I heard that and I appreciate it. And it's nice to be back. And it's nice for Kendra to be back. And here she is.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you, and needless to say, it's always a pleasure. All righty, we'll go to George Armstrong, council member.
Good evening, everybody. So I did write a few things down, but I'll try to be brief because I think this is an important thing. I think I agree with what everybody says, and obviously everybody looks at the holidays really different. And what I want to say is, you know, for family, especially, like Wade said, that's not always a comfortable thing. So, and for me, I raised my family and spent the holidays surrounded by family. But the last few years, you know, I just get a few hours with family, and the rest of the time is when you're alone. So that's what makes it difficult for a lot of people. So I want to address some of those things, but I really want to start by saying that these are my experiences. And these are just self-help tools that I've used. I really want to also say that, you know, we're all at different stages in our post-traumatic growth. And in my case, in my recovery, I'm 14 to 15 years into my recovery. So I have a whole quiver full of arrows of different ways that I deal with these issues. Whereas Kendra, like she said, kind of just like Christmas, she's probably trying to figure out, you know, which arrows she needs to put in her quiver that are going to work best for her dealing with these problems.
My dad just gave me the serenity prayer on a dog tag yesterday too. I thought I would share that with you.
I appreciate that. You know how much I love that. Yeah, so having said that, I think the first thing you need to do is be able to identify. So for me, being able to identify if something, for me, like if I get triggered, the first thing that I try to do is get angry, that my mind switches to is to get angry. So once I'm able to identify that it's not just getting angry and I'm really not pissed off at the guy that cut me off, but it's probably a sign of things to come. And then, you know, if you know the holidays are coming up, people with these issues know they're going to have these difficulties. So in my case, I set my like quick action game plan into effect. It's like my self-care trifecta. The first one I already talked about. I learned to identify these feelings and issues for what they are early on in the process. And the earlier you can identify and react to them, then the quicker you can help yourself. I like to take immediate action by first and foremost making priority of sleep. So for me, that means 8 hours. I need to get 7.5. So I take 8 in my schedule, no matter what I've got to do. If I've got to get up at 5 o'clock, then I make myself go lay down in bed at 9 o'clock. I make that a priority number one on kind of my self-help game plan, because I learned how important sleep was to me pretty early on. I make, for the next 5 days, I write something very small down if I'm not feeling well for each day, something that I'm going to get done to feel better about myself. And as I've kind of grown into this plan, if I'm not really feeling bad, you know, I might have 2 or 3 on if they're really small tasks. But yeah, especially if starting off, you know, make your goals really small But go out and do something like Wade said, getting outside is one of those things, but I'm going to talk a little more about those things later. But and then, so make up your to-do list, try to stick to it. And there's always failures. If something happens and you don't do your list, you get up the next day. Each day is another day, and you start over on your list wherever you left off. And lastly, give yourself a little bit of grace. That's self-explanatory, but people, especially like veterans that are seem to be really hard on ourselves, I think. So those are the three things I like to talk about. And then as far as, and then real quick, and then I say overall, like that's just a quick reaction plan, but the stuff that works for me to make me get through tough times are the stuff that works that I've always talked about. What works for you, whether it be yoga or breathing, meditating, going out and doing nature walks like Wade was talking about. It could be photography. It could really be anything at all, but you need to find something that brings you to center and back into that space. And that's really the work that works. That's the stuff that you have to do in this process to make you feel better. But in the hardest times, it's very, very difficult. And that's why I have that, small things, 3 things that when I feel like I'm not doing well, that I go back to those small things and then grow back in. But especially like the breathing and the yoga, those are, especially the breathing for me. So what like earlier, I talked about getting angry. I've learned to react much differently to that feeling, and able to catch myself before the anger gets up and out, basically. And breathing, the simplest breathing exercises has been one of the most life-changing things that I've been able to just do for myself, to train myself to recognize something, quickly go into a breathing exercise, just and be able to get myself out of it in 10 to 15 seconds. I think it's super, super helpful. And other than that, like I said, I to me, it's all the stuff that's worked to help keep me sober. It's a process. It's different for everybody. Like Wade said, finding gratitude is something that's really, really important to a lot of people in recovery. And it's been important to my recovery for sure. So yeah, I try to do those things in my life every day, but when you're in these positions, it's really good to focus on it. So during the holidays, to me, and that's where that's all I really need to say about the holidays, is that, for me, the stuff that brings me down is that I don't have that same experience. So I went back to what because I always said it was, just like Wade said, it's family and friends, and it kind of still is, but I'm going to spend like 95% of it now with family and friends. So I had to find other things. So for me, just actually the holiday spirit, listening to Christmas carols early on, decorating early on, people's, attitude is just a little better. Everything's decorated on the streets. I really appreciate that. And I love the spirit of giving. So I'm not going to fall into the trap of putting myself in a financial hole. Instead, I'm going to buy really meaningful gifts for the 10 people closest to me in my life. That I'm sure will bring me joy. And that's what I choose to look at the holidays now, is that it's still about family. It's always been about giving. So I haven't really changed anything. I'm just going back to the simple things that it means to me, and keep it simple, stupid. That's really all I have. That's what I'm going to try to do this year. Oh, and I did want to say that I tried last year. We should also talk about some of the shit that doesn't work. And last year I was in the same exact boat, and the memories have been coming up this week, and it definitely reminded me of how tough it was last year. And I didn't put up a tree. I didn't do any decorating, and still gave to everybody around me. So I think that was a mistake. This year I'm going to decorate, listen to my Christmas music, watch lots of Christmas movies, because Elf and Christmas Vacation and It's a Wonderful Life are probably in my top 5 movies ever. So I'll watch them like 20 times. So yeah, that's what I have. I appreciate the conversation. Any veteran out there who's having trouble getting through the holidays, I have to say that groups like this, being able to just talk openly with people that are willing to put an ear out is really valuable. And we meet 3 times a week. So this is definitely my part of my family and friends of the holidays that I will set as a positive. And with that, I'll pass it on to the next. Peace.
Thank you very much. Those are some great tips and holidays for if you are and you do get triggered. Each one of these are our own experiences. We're not health professionals in any way, shape, or form. We're just giving you the tools that we have learned through our existence, as well as our own therapies, to help us get through these times, because we know they can be challenging. So thank y'all very much for your open and honesty there, and especially George for giving tools as well, as well as giving instances of realizations of when we're triggered, and instances to work our way out of them. Those are our triggers are our responsibility, so we have to learn ways how to handle them. They're not anybody else's responsibilities. Our triggers are our own, and that's something that we have to self-realize, and each one of us has in our own way, but we have to all find our own path to that realization as well. So next up will be Pearson Kennedy Crosby, who has had a challenging year, to say the least. So I know the holidays mean a lot to him. So how do you get through these holidays, Pearson?
Well, I like Christmas caroling, as George said. It's always important. George has a beautiful voice. If anybody hasn't heard George sing, it brings a tear to my eye. Yeah, I got Christmas carols right here from 1860. It was festive. Well, I always try to remind myself that life is way too important to take it seriously, and I think we are we're too we're pushed to believe that holidays are more than what they are, which they should just be about family, a way to get together in a stress-free environment. Yeah, religion comes into play, or it did prior, but I think at the end of the day, it's just an opportunity to come together with people that you appreciate, and for some reason put up with us. And I think that's the beauty of the holidays, is getting, as much as it can go awry or anything like that. At the end of the day, showing up is the biggest, the most important thing. Doesn't matter how many presents you have on your Christmas tree or what you get. It's just being able to be there with people that love you and you love them. So, and it's hard to. I try to look past a lot of things that could, make people a little bit more stressed out than they should be, because it's everyone's choice on how they want to go through the holidays. But I think it's all out of love, and we have to remember that. And for those who get stressed out, whether or not it's big or little, it's because they care, and you just got to recognize it and show up and let them know that. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Pearson. We will go next to Lenora Velez. Lenora, how are you? What gets you through these holidays, sister?
Well, hi guys, I miss everyone. I love to see your faces. It so rocks. But I when I went to boot camp, my grandfather, the one who took me down to the recruiting office, he passed away in Christmas. And I was in boot camp not only for my birthday, but also for Christmas. And they actually let me come home for his funeral. So, but ever since then, every year, most of the deaths in our family happen around Thanksgiving and Christmas. I just don't know why. So, I just keep going. I have children. I have an 18-year-old and I have a 24-year-old. My 24-year-old just bought a house in Boulder City, Nevada, up there where they built Hoover Dam. It's an 800 square foot house, but it's on a 7,000 square foot property. But yeah, it's an old house, and just to see them living their lives. I mean, before when they were children, it was hard, but it was hard every day. But as they're older and living their lives, that really helps during the holidays. I know we have a lot of deaths in the holidays, and we haven't had one yet, knock on wood, this season. But that helps me. My youngest daughter's in college. She's coming home for Christmas. So that's great. That helps me just to see them. So raising children was so hard for me. I was a single parent on and off throughout their childhood. And it just seemed like it was so hard. But now that they're older, it's such a joy to have children. I'm so glad I have them. But yeah, that's it. That's what I do. I just help them in any way I can and be supportive. And it keeps me doing it. And, even when I was struggling raising them, they kept me young. They kept me, looking for friends and reaching out to friends, because my kids had friends and they were always coming over and wanting to go over there. So I was like, well, I got to get back with my friends. And they just, my kids, I owe everything to my family, but my kids kept me going. So I'm so grateful for them. And you guys.
Well, thank you as well as, and we are thankful for you. Next up would be Michael Crowitz. Hi, Mike.
Man. How y'all doing?
So far, so good.
I was just sitting here thinking, I don't know, the holidays have never been really like a major, problem for me. It's funny what you remember. When I got in the basic training, I didn't even think about the time of the year. I went in November, So of course I was in basic training at Christmas, and my sister, having, knowing nothing about the military or, or anything, sent me a gift package with like a 5-pound bag of pistachio nuts in it, which of course they gave us like 45 minutes to eat whatever snacks were in in our packages that we got from home. That made a memorable moment, trying to figure out what to do with 5 pounds of pistachios. Everybody was like chipmunks with pockets full of pistachio nuts in my whole unit. They're in basic training, but I don't know, over the years, I'm with Lenore a little bit, with the holidays being something about family. You sort of see it through your child's eyes. But I don't know. I just see it as an add-on, I guess, in my life. I don't really see it as any kind of big stressor, per se. It's a time that, it's is created to create community, to create family, to, this is part of our rituals and practices as humans that should make us feel better, I think, constructively. Um, Not saying that it, necessarily does that for me either all the time, but I'm just saying, theoretically, um, if the holidays are really bringing you down, then maybe try to reassess it from that perspective. I think that, certainly all the way through my entire life, I'm a son of an auctioneer, and I've lived in a world of things, and I do the historical stuff. You guys know all about that, but I'm sort of an anti, um, anti, uh, I don't know what's the word for it. I don't think you should put too much weight in things and what you have, what you don't have. Um, you know, the pursuit of stuff. I'm saying this on Black Friday, but I think the world, I was just looking at the news, and the world has shifted on a little bit. You don't see the lines on Black Friday like you used to see. People are buying stuff more online, maybe more selectively with the higher prices of things. So I don't know. But I think having stuff that you value and that increases value over time, something that you need, something that you love, something that makes you and your family and your friends happy, is more important than just acquiring things in general. So, for what it's worth.
Thank you, Michael. Let's see. For me, now it's, holidays are about my wife, family, and my work family. I grew up, my mom was divorced, so I was always somewhere else for, Christmas, Thanksgiving, etc. So we were traveling to and from houses, grandparents' houses. Um, and then that always was uncomfortable because it was uncomfortable for my mom. So I would watch my mom struggle with the uncomfortability of it all, and so it just always added a weird twist for me. But we always had a tree with decorations, but again, we celebrated elsewhere. It wasn't until I was 8 and she remarried that we started hosting our own family sort of Christmas. So Christmas to me has always felt a bit forced. Same with Thanksgiving. We were usually marched to church, and as a kid of divorce, it was anxiety ridden, constantly uncomfortable, stressful. The choice of which family, I had the option of going visiting my dad or staying there, being there with my mom. And if I went to my dad's, that was yeah, it was just uncomfortable. My stepmom just always felt cold, and the stepbrothers and sisters were all older. I'm the youngest of the 13, so for me, everybody else had real life problems. I was still, dealing with, kid stupid stuff. So I was raised of that generation to be seen and not heard. So I was used to just, going into my head. So um for me, I usually tried to find the room where the football was on, and then I'd go sit there and lose myself in my head until, the social situation was called for. When as I started to get older, mom kind of went overboard. She had her own mental illness, and Christmas, she went way overboard. Not only with the Christmas tree, she had over 1,000 ornaments. So she would not only decorate the tree, she would decorate garland around the house. Then my stepdad would make Tinker Toy trees that they would hang like the toy soldiers on, the other ones with the angels. And the house for Christmas was pretty fucking intensely awesome. I mean, the Christmas tree, the smell. My mom always got a blue spruce, which has a more pungent scent to it. As she said, she recently confessed to us, but she told us as kids that Andre, who is my blind brother, liked the smell of the blue spruce. So if you go out and hunt blue spruces, it's a hard to find tree. You have to drive around to find it. It's easy to find pines, etc. But to find one of those can be a bit of a challenge. And my mom finally confessed that she was the one who liked the smell of the blue spruce, not Andre, because Andre didn't say anything because he's blind and autistic, bless his little soul. So he's going to question mom in front of everybody. No. So, but that was a recent confession for us to realize that, that was my mom's personal thing to, yeah, have in. So as I got older and became more of an adult, and I've been a patient most of my adult life. So I was usually the guy at the family gatherings or gatherings with my ex-wife or her family, etc. I was the guy organizing the walk before or after dinner, where everybody would come back with red eyes and be a little more jovial. Yeah, that was, yeah. So that's one of the things I learned to, to get involved with for myself when I, West Virginia Army National Guard, when we got activated for Desert Storm or Desert Shield. For me, we were evac, but we were allowed to come back for 72 hours for Thanksgiving, which was nice to come home and say hi before we went back to Fort Campbell and went off to war. Um, but so that one, it's a kind of a blip for me. The military and the holidays really didn't, mm, have much of a bearing on me. So as I've gotten older, I'm again non-denominational. So I am very patient this time of year. So I don't care whatever your belief system is. I'm down to celebrate it. Whatever your holiday is that day, let me know. I'll bring a fat joint for it. I don't care. Whatever God you got, there's over 3,000 known ones out there. Just give me a heads up and I'm here for it. So I, people get upset. Oh, it's a Jewish holiday. So this, I don't care what holiday you got, and if I have to close for it, okay, I have to close for the Christian holiday. So, I do so. Because that's what's expected of me society wise, but I don't have any more of a vested interest in it. My most vested interest now is my wife and I like to watch A Christmas Story once on Christmas Day together when it runs, right? So that way we have notched Christmas off. We've seen it as a kid. That one I went and saw it in the theaters, and that one had a great impact on me for some reason. So to constantly see that and reminder of it just is kind of a giggle for me. So that's my only holiday tradition that I have. So I keep it quite simple. I like to go away at the end of the year since it tends to be that time of year. And most people take summer vacations. I take mine in the middle of the winter, and I try to go somewhere where there's whales jumping and just kind of post up for a couple of weeks. And yeah, that's my thing. I get a little Meli Kaliki Maka going and watch the rain fall on jumping whales, and that to me is as Christmas as it was to be a child and having expectations of gifts, etc. So again, this is all different things, our histories, our talks, our feelings about how we get through our holidays. So more of mine is a history for me that gives me an understanding where I've come from, because it's been such a stressful time for me in the past to now be relaxed and centered about the holidays and what they are and what they mean to people is a recent thing for me and my soul. And so I appreciate the kindness that people tend to show. It tends to be a little more kinder time of the year, a little more sharing, a little more love, a little more all of the above. And I'm here for it. I wish it were, you know, I wish we could take this holiday season and stretch it throughout the entire year because of how people act during it and kindness towards each other. Because I wish that would continue to manifest itself throughout the rest of the year. And to some people, it does. And maybe that's something that we can aspire to in the future. But it's own set of challenges. So I'm not so much triggered anymore or concerned about holidays as much as living, getting through those tough years, finding ways to survive those times of upset and strife when I was left of center or felt off, to finally arrive at my comfortable self is a gift I gave myself by living, by not wanting to commit suicide in times when I was feeling down or depressed or separated or away from things. It's something we all find in life. We are not challenged by suicide just because we're in the military. As stated before, it's something that is very much a reality for a lot of people. So take that time, be extra kind, be extra loving, share a little extra, invite somebody over that you don't know, extend your table, don't close your doors, open your fruit baskets, share your harvests, share the love, share the joy. As we have found in the VAC, we found a great deal in our collective post-traumatic growth is helping others and helping each other. And in the holidays, let's not forget, is the time is highly stressful for many people in the world. So be a little extra nice. Let that person cut in front of you, whatever, don't take that person who cut you off and on the highway too seriously. Life is yeah, it's too precious to get involved in the anger of the moment. And I want to thank George for giving us some tools earlier in how to you know extradite yourself from the situation, figure out how to self-assess yourself to make sure what you are triggered by isn't affecting those around you. And that is a challenging thing for people this time of the year. So don't be afraid if you need extra help to do a buddy check in with your friends, check in with your family, check in with those that you haven't talked to in a bit. Yeah, they want to hear from you as much as your inner self wants to hear from them. So uh, be that warrior and take that chance. Reach out, be loving, be supportive, be what you can, do what you can. And that's all I have. So, does anybody, after hearing us all go through our talks of our histories or how we feel about the holidays and what gets us through, is there anybody here that had something that they wanted to speak more toward that they didn't cover, or something that came up for them that from others speaking that they'd like to speak to or toward? Raise
I
your
just want to
hand.
say
Go ahead.
uh, um, I just want to say that I really enjoy listening to you speak, and you have like so many great and inspiring and descriptive words. It's like, ooh, I want to write them all down and try to remember them. I just want to say I appreciate that part. I'm sure I'll
Yes.
have more to say later.
Right on. Well, yes, my vernacular is large, but that comes from having a blind father who was a lawyer. We played a lot with words, so it was our field. But
We'll get there. As I said, I may continue my education and we'll get there. We'll figure it out.
Absolutely. So, council members, anybody else have anything else you'd like to say that you didn't cover? Well, with that in mind, then I will take it back down to the gallery. Oops. 1 second. And all right, well,
Can I say hi to my friend Sarah? She's in South Carolina, and I graduated high school with her, was in band, everything, and then she ended up joining the Army, and she's in South Carolina. She's a nurse down there, so I know she's watching. I've been like, hey, and I've been on Instagram like, hey, come watch us.
well,
So.
we wish her luck and success. And of course, we think of everybody who's out there who is deployed in this holiday season, and don't forget those. And if you have the availability to share that love and spread that joy, it's a wonderful thing. As somebody who I got a nice letter during the holidays that said, have a great war. And, it's, yeah, that's what kids say. That's,
Well, I mean, you say that that's what kids say, but bless her heart, she's an intelligent woman. She says some stuff sometimes that shouldn't be said, maybe. But my ex-mother-in-law, while I was in Iraq, she decided to give me the report of one of the places that got blown up that was very, very near to me. And she sent me an email saying, oh, this place got blown up. And I'm like, you think I don't fucking know this?
Yeah,
I heard this. Like we know. But they don't understand. People don't understand if they've been there, even if they're family and they have somebody, oh my son, oh my husband, even, oh my wife, like if they have not been there, they don't understand. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. And that's why, groups like this help out all of us out so much and keep us connected throughout generations even. So we need to, I have a whole thing with the VA. We need to get at the VA and make them do their damn jobs. And I'm doing it. ATN pointed out I'm an activist. I'm not an advocate. I'm a damn activist. And he is correct. So we're doing this.
Michael.
Catch me mid-drink. Sorry about that. I was thinking earlier, I just wanted to send hugs and love to those in Ukraine, and warmth to those in Ukraine that are suffering tonight with no heat, no electricity. Whatever your politics might be, it's universally unacceptable to attack civilian places and deprive them of electricity in the freaking dead of winter. There's no acceptable justification of that. There just isn't. So, but much love to the folks in Ukraine, and hope you can find plenty of potbelly stoves and places to put them.
Well,
they can, if they can get the little lights in an upside down ceramic pot or a ceramic something with a little ventilation, that will help heat a little area too.
Yep, the ceramic radiates the heat. And of course, that's why, yes, peace on earth and goodwill toward man is a saying this time of year that is fortunately non-denominational. George.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, don't be afraid to start new shit. So that's what I did. I made a huge ham yesterday and have no idea how I'm going to eat it. But so I put it out there, and I got a bunch of friends who gave me a bunch of recipes. So I'm going to make some of those up and freeze them. And, see, life gave me lemonade. So I'm going to make lemons and ham and bean soup, apparently. So
I would suggest freezing it. However, since I just got a new truck and you're not very far from me, I'll drive down and eat some damn ham with you. I'll make scalloped potatoes. How about that?
Oh, now you're making a meal here now. Now you get me hungry.
I'm Italian Hungarian, honey.
And that's also the great thing about the holidays is people actually break out their recipes and share their recipes with friends and family. So
Yes,
what
we do.
what's
Oh, I have to respond to that, ATN. I have to
yeah,
respond to that. First of all, Kendra, bring it. Absolutely. But second of all, what kind of new truck did you get?
I got a 2011 GMC 1500 Z71. It's listed and it has flares on all four tires. It's red and it's got big tires on it. And a lot of guys, like I'm already getting the stares. And then the girl, like it's from like a family owned car dealership that's been around for 51 years. And it's literally 2 country blocks down from the ice cream place that I used to get my ice cream from all throughout my life. Played softball in the field across the street and went swimming there. So very local. The girl that is family went to my high school, I guess. She's 4 years behind me. I'm like, I've been looking for a car for a year and I don't know what kind to get it because I love cars and I'm very specific. And Kendra's Kendra. How do I go from an orange Beetle that everybody knows to something I need all-wheel drive that needs to be Kendra? And just I kept looking at all stuff, didn't feel right. And last week I was driving home, I saw this truck. I'm like, ooh, that's fucking pretty. And I'm like, I'm like, had the Beagle with me. I was babysitting my best friend from North Carolina's Beagle. I have a friend in North Carolina and South Carolina. And I'm like, hey, should I go look at the truck? And she told me, yeah. So I slammed on the brakes and she kind of ate a little bit of the dashboard and we fucking flipped the bitch and looked at the truck. And I'm like, yep. And I went back the next duty day and first thing, and the girl's like, hey, I'm like, hey, and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I got a truck too. And we're like, yeah, girl truckers rock. And I fucking love the thing. I figured all my exes had a fucking Chevy truck, ex-husband, ex-father-in-law. My father has the military. I drove all fucking Chevys. If I wasn't driving my 38 foot by 9 foot long fuel truck and then jumping in my Beetle. So why the fuck not get a truck? It feels natural to me, and she's beautiful, and I love her. And she's like $10,000 cheaper than the budget that I was looking at, so it works out.
well, I'm gonna bring this back to the
So, well,
holidays for a second and ask y'all before we decide to wrap this up is if you could have one holiday food on a desert island, what is your favorite holiday food? Oh, and I'm just gonna start with George.
Apple pie a la mode.
Well, there we go. Apple pie a la mode for George. But have a refrigerator on that desert island. No, you're eating it, right? All right, Lenora, what's your favorite food?
I would have to say steak and eggs, or steak and shrimp dinner, a steak and shrimp dinner, Vegas style. So yeah.
There you go. Wade, how about you?
Mine would probably be some version of scalloped potatoes with diced ham in it.
Oh, nice.
did I
Kendra.
get you hungry for those, Wade? Since I am next, since you said holiday, our Christmases are Italian Christmases, and I would have to say Brajol.
Nice. Pearson, what you got?
Turkey. And
Any
some
particular
gravy.
way?
No, just thoroughly cooked. Yeah. Maybe like leftover turkey dinner with mashed potatoes and corn on white bread with some gravy.
All right, Michael.
No cranberry sauce at all.
No, I don't eat vegetables.
Gravy, though, at least.
Well,
I know it's a fruit.
But it's jelly. Like the canned shit's just jelly. It's just sugar, you know.
so since we're
Yeah, I'll start you
kinda
guys
based
off with
in-
a Let me start you guys off with a French onion soup, 3 different kinds of onions, topped with really thin rye bread, and then covered with Gruyere cheese. That's how we'll start, okay?
Well, I always used to make mine with a different beer every time from the local brewery in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, my French onion soup. And I hate onions like my body does, but I would slice those bitches. I loved it. Homemade. I love French.
All right,
So
Michael.
I spent next year or two over there, winter in Guam, USA, and that's surreal coming from New Jersey to be in Guam. And on Christmas Day, you got Santa Claus wearing shorts, giving toys to the kids and stuff. It's kind of surreal, but I have to say, Guamanian people, they know how to party. They'll take out a loan against their house to put on a fiesta party, and they'll put a table up that's 30 feet long that every foot of it is just done with love. And they had, chicken kelaguen was this one dish that they had that was just off the hook chicken, and it had spices in it, and everything had like fresh coconut and stuff in it. It was living on an island in the Marianas, in the Polynesian islands. That's one of the upsides of military experience, I'd have to say. But yeah, the food from out there, I put that high in my memory of non-traditional, maybe for New Jersey, but very great Christmas food.
I'd have to go with ham and that damn green bean casserole. I just don't know what it is with the little crispy onions, and I know it's just cream of mushroom soup and green beans, but done right is just yeah. And I love ham, but fried turkey, if you can fry a turkey and do it right, one of the most amazing things I've ever had. And I used
I
to have,
agree about the fried turkey. Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy good, and juicy and delicious. So that's where Pearson said turkey. I was like, oof, yeah, fried
I
turkey.
think the secret for me, I think the secret to the green bean casserole is a little bit of like beef bouillon, just a little bit, and then maybe a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. And it adds like that depth. And because like you can also do that to like beef stroganoff too. It adds that
I
beefy
like it.
depthness. Like I love to cook. Like that's how you know when Kendra is back. She's like, girl, you can fucking do this and this and this and this. So I'm sorry, we're live, aren't we?
That's great though. That's nice.
Hey, it's the holidays. We're having fun, so that's all that matters. All right. Well, I think that's it. We covered everything, basically for our little holiday show, and I can't thank everybody enough. George Armstrong, Lenora Valles, Al Byrne, Wade Laughter, Kendra So, Michael Crowitz, Pearson Kennedy Crosby, and myself, Etienne Fontaine. I want to thank you all very much for attending our V.A.C. Roundtable number 47, the holidays and what gets us through. And it seems it's good food. So you ladies and gentlemen, go out there and enjoy it. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Happy holidays, everybody. Peace on earth and goodwill towards men.
Happy holidays.
All right. Let's stop.